release Project Justice League and then bringing it to the big screen has proven to be a difficult task, as the first iteration was not that well received. So, Zack Snyder decided to jump in and release the Justice League Snyder's Cut movie, which, to be fair, solved some problems for the movie, but not entirely. So, moving forward, what are the plans for a sequel? Well, today, we are going to take a first look into things and tell you everything we know about a possible sequel from the DCEU Recap.
How many alternate timelines do you destroy the world?
Everyone around the world wants to know about Justice League 2, and we can't blame them. Zack Snyder's left a legion of DC fans spellbound and expectant after his take on the movie, who left a naked hint for a potential sequel, one that may never see a light, to be honest. However, we should not lose hope, because Zack has spoken at length about the likelihood of a sequel being released. And not just that, but a third installment too. And if we ever get the opportunity for a sequel, we have Snyder cited the story continuation and what the movie might look like moving forward. As of right now, a sequel is a distant possibility, but Snyder seems to be all in for a sequel. On his promotion of Army of the Dead in May 2021, he claimed that Warner Bros. Has been aggressively anti-Snyder and are not willing to continue the story of the latest Justice League movie. According to him, Warner Bros. Were interested, and the only thing the franchise needs is the movement of the fans with pure intentions. And maybe, just maybe, the cooler heads would come to respect this movement and acknowledge that the massive fandom is enough to get the whole project into motion. As we said before, Zack Snyder's cut on Justice League, as promised, ended on a massive cliffhanger that can easily be leading to future movies. Not one, but two to be precise. With all said and done, we think we might be far off from the Snyderverse, but even further when the abandoning side of things is considered. So, with that in mind, let's see where the franchise stands. Is Justice League 2 happening?
Something darker.
You would not believe this, but there was a point in time when the sequel of Justice League was as good as official, which never came to pass. Quietly scrubbed from the schedules after the release of the 2017's Justice League, a moment when fans turned towards Zack Snyder's take on the movie and his vision for the project, with the fans getting what they wanted: Justice League Snyder's Cut. Unfortunately, it seems like there will be no Justice League sequel. Seeing how things stand at the moment, and with so much story revealed by Snyder, it seems like he has somewhat given up the thought of doing the sequel. Otherwise, he would have kept most of the important details to himself and for the actual release of the movie. February 2021 was the last time we heard from Snyder, where he talked about the studio not being on board for a sequel, saying that there is no interest or appetite to do more of these movies, with him anyway. That is his take on the whole thing. Snyder even doubled down on his disappearing hopes for the movie in an interview for Total Film, who described that even though he has the plan for 2 upcoming sequels to the franchise, he is discouraged to go into detail, as he thinks that the 2 are just never going to get photographed or even happen. Snyder fans will know that you can never say never when his past experiences are taken into account, especially since Justice League leaves things open. So maybe there will be a sequel, but probably not in the near future. And with that in mind, we think it's time to see what could happen in a sequel or 2. A continuation of the story from Snyder's point of view. Continuation of the story.
Frankly, you don't have the cojones to die yourself.
So far, there is nothing on the writing side for the sequel. However, we still have quite a lot to go on for the story side of things. And so we will try to interpret for you as what might happen if a sequel is ever released. As Snyder described it, the sequel would ultimately see the fall of the Earth, when Superman succumbs to the anti-life equation, a formula Darkseid seeks, with him thinking that the mathematical proof lies in humanity. The sequel would see Lex Luthor teaming up with Darkseid after his arrival, with Superman asking Batman to look out for Lois Lane while he battles with Darkseid, who is told by Luthor that the weakness for Superman is killing Lois Lane. Darkseid ultimately kills Lois Lane. Superman fails and starts to hesitate. The two, Superman and Batman, start arguing. But why? Well, in Snyder's original version, Batman falls in love with Lois, but despite the romantic subplot, Lois seems to be bound to die. and Batman is left riddled with guilt over her death. A moment when broken-hearted Superman gives in to the anti-life equation, the mythical power which grants him obsolete control over everything it touches. This is also the time where the nightmare scene at the end of Snyder's cut comes in. During the epilogue, Batman teams up with Flash, Mera, Cyborg, Joker, and Deathstroke on a Darkseid-conquered Earth. An evil Superman shows up to take on his former friends at the end. Another plot point the sequel would have followed the group searching for one of the mother boxes and taking one from a half-destroyed cathedral in Gotham and taking it back to the Batcave to use its power and put Flash on his treadmill, and him going back in time to stop things. From there, Flash would meet Bruce back in time. The scene we saw in Batman vs. Superman. This travel back in time would conclude with Batman realizing he has to sacrifice himself for Lois so she doesn't get killed by Darkseid, preventing most of the things happening in their present. Thus, as a result, Superman doesn't succumb to the anti-life equation, which would go on to lead the third movie planned, which would see Aquaman leading the forces of Atlantis, Diana the forces of Themyscira, and Superman and Flash leading the forces of humans against Darkseid in one giant war. Snyder also teased the new gods, the Warriors of Apocalypse, who would also be present in the sequel, with the third movie setting itself up to one big invasion of the new gods. The trilogy would also see the larger battle on Darkseid's world, Apocalypse, alongside the Green Lantern Corps, with the fight eventually bringing Darkseid to Earth. And while Justice League 2 and 3 may never come to pass, we have a general idea as to where the movies might go if they are ever given the green light. Or maybe there is something else in the store. A reboot of sorts? Reboot.
She was my world.
The likeliest option right now for a sequel or another Justice League movie, rather than a direct sequel, would be a reboot, something on the lines of James Gunn's approach to the Suicide Squad. After all, Ben Affleck is not Batman anymore, despite him appearing in the upcoming DC movie, The Flash, and Cavill appears to only be cameoing as Superman. For now, knowing that he is probably also not getting another sequel to his name, with that in mind, two major characters wouldn't be the same as before. Thus, making a direct sequel could also be a bad idea. That is, if both Superman and Batman get recast. Justice League 2 could potentially go on without them, although they were traditionally the two core members of the team. So we see where DCEU will take us next. Maybe they will even recast some of the leads, which would be a terrible idea if we are asked. Nevertheless, the whole Justice League sequel has proven to be one big confusing proposition for sure. Either way, a new Justice League sequel looks a long way off. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League? And what continuation of the story would you like to see coming in the future? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.